There'll be yellow flag irises. Hello, thank you for joining me and welcome to another walk in nature in another ancient place. I know I say that a lot, but it seems to be where I am. This is the Fosse Way, the road I was born on, the road a number of my family was born on, the road my son was born on, the road my dad was born on. Oh, actually he wasn't, it turns out, so I can't say that. But his brothers and sisters were. And it's a road called the Fosse Way. I've no idea what its ancient Britain name was, but it's one of the oldest roads, one of the two oldest main journeying avenues, what do you call them? Ways across England. So I thought today it might be story time. Oh, there's a willow. Oh, you'll like this. If I know my viewers, or some of them. Yeah, can you see it? That's the best my focus do. Nice fairy tale turreted house. It's funny, in families things happen, don't they? You know, and in friendships, you know, things happen. You have jobs, you go to uni, you have children, you move, you know, you have lots of things you've got to do with the immediate family, so you lose touch with other people, all kinds of things. So it's only recently that I've reconnected with my brother and other members of my family through circumstances, really. So last year, maybe it was the year before, I think it was last year anyway, my brother and I decided that while I do this, we'll look at some interesting plants and sites that are along here. White dead nettle and bluebell, among others. And we decided to go and visit two of our aunts. One of which we hadn't seen for 40 years, and the other one we hadn't seen for 30 years. Which, you know, is quite a long time, isn't it? We're actually sort of by the side of a house here, but there are bluebells. So we decided to visit both of them in a day. Anyway, due to not finding out the details, I mean, you know, some will say, women, don't let men organise anything. That's possibly true. Don't know where that is, but I'm not drawn to go in there anyway. So we found a day that fitted in, and then at the last minute we found that one of our aunts, and also if you're watching, hi, lived in a place we weren't expecting for some reason. That's what I mean, didn't get all the details and then made a plan. So anyway, it wasn't so bad. It just led to a very coincidental day. So we left and we drove along what people call the Michael and Mary line. I don't. I call it the male-female line. Wow, now there's an old hazel tree there. Look at that. And the stuff behind it isn't that nice. But we're on a paved bit of it. It's funny, I've driven along the road to get here, and then I walk a track, a byway, and now I'm here and it's all paved. I don't know what this building is. I didn't notice, it wasn't marked on my map as being anything. But, danger, danger. Looks like some kind of water thing. Yeah. Drizzle water. And so, this is going to be interesting. So off we set. Went through Avebury. Did we? No, we didn't. But we could have done. We kind of followed the Michael-Mary line, or the male-female line. Whether that will turn out to be a major lay energy line running through Britain, or whether there'll be others that have been destroyed by building and roads, remains to be seen. But at the moment it does seem to be one that connects with world places via St Michael's Mount. It then connects with St Michael's Mount, normally Skellig Michael, or Skellig St Michael, the island off the coast of southwestern Ireland, and goes down to Italy. I haven't traced that, but I have before. There was a book written about it. I'd already started working on it, and I was talking to a friend about what I'd found out, and he said, "Oh, do you know about the book?" And I said, "No." And he told me about the book. I can't remember what it's called, the serpent thing or something. Can't remember. And I was like, "Oh, wow, great." It's going to sound like I copied them, which is why I don't watch anyone who does anything like me, or or anything like that, because everything I'm doing is stuff that I've found out through years of hard work. Look, cowslips. So off we went. We followed sort of the line of the ley line, pretty much. And then went for a magical walk with our aunt. It really was very interesting and magical. We saw a few kites playing in the wind. The raptors, not the canvas things. And then we left there and we went across a bit further, and we had to get onto what's known as the A5, which used to be Watling Street. Now Watling Street is the other main artery, thoroughway, what do you call them, track, road, that goes sort of from Kent all the way up to High Cross and then beyond and over to Wales. A lovely old willow. I'm going to apologise because I should have filmed that bit back there, because it would have been good for some B-roll. Yeah, people like looking at houses that they can't afford, that that lots of rich upper class people live in, or just rich people. But I just don't like filming people's houses. And you notice the sky. But that's not just human natural activity. There is no way that is. And there's probably no way that many people see this, because they're too busy trying to get to work, or never out at 7 o'clock in the morning to see it, or earlier. Look at that! They're not natural. Now if you look here, the patch nearest us has got two tall, strong looking ones, and to the right of it one with a curl. Well, the one with a curl is native. The other ones are what we call Spanish ones, and they will cross with the ones that are here, and eventually we will have crossbreeds and we won't have our native bluebells. Sorry to have to say that. There's some willows as well. There's a lovely willow tree there, so what I'll do is on the way back, if I've still got some battery left, I will film what I didn't, if I can. Okay, not promising, but if I have, then you've already seen it. So shut up, Mark. So we reached the A5. Now that was really magical, because I'd only ever been on a short section of the A5, and we drove kind of from Milton Keynes all the way up to High Cross, literally. I mean literally, in that at High Cross we had to stop for a call of nature. Anyway, so we went up droving, we went through places I'd heard of that always sounded a bit romantic. I know they're not. Places like Toaster, which didn't that house a Roman garrison fort? This is a willow, this is a very old willow. That's what you find along ancient roads, very old trees. And here's a very old hazel. So yes, it was really quite enjoyable. I mean, for some reason the journey took us a long time. I've no idea why. I really have no idea why. And what I noticed, oh look at this. Wow. Yes, my day is made in a bluebell glade. bluebells and raspberries, wild raspberries. Gorgeous, isn't it? I noticed along the side of the road, proving that the Romans used it more than they did the Fosse. That's a, wow, this is a lovely bit. I know work has been done on some of them. But look at that. Blue balls. Growing at the side of the road in huge swathes. Oh, look. And some pink campion as well. Was hemlock, which is a plant that the Romans brought over. Why hemlock, I don't know, because it's poisonous, isn't it? And whoa! I didn't see that it was so dipped. That's what I do for this channel, so if you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, share, comment. What a mad fool. It didn't look that deep. Anyway, at least I'm not in water. It was for that shot there. Let's take the telegraph pole out of it. There we go. Now, hemlock is where the expression sardonic smile comes from, because as you die from it, can we get in there? I'm in another channel I didn't realise. As you die from it, it causes some of the muscles in the face to contract, which give rise to a sardonic smile. And in fact, isn't that isn't the Latin name something sardonia, sardonica or something? Cars drive along this. Have to be careful. Now, not far from High Cross, and High Cross is where the Fosse and Watling Street cross at what's named the Roman town of Venone, but it's not the Roman town because it's an ancient British town, was there before the Romans, but we don't know its ancient British name. Not long before we get there, we cross what I call the Upper Avon. Now, me and my brother, we grew up near the source of the lower Avon, and it goes off down to past Stonehenge and off to Bournemouth, which Bournemouth is often where we went for days out. Boscombe, but we did go to Bournemouth, and we had I remembered the other day that my mother, we were walking along the seafront and my mother saw something blowing towards her, put her hand out, caught it, wandered off, and it was a £5 note, which back in the 1970s was quite a bit of money. No one came shouting after her. Notice there's a lot of trees been planted. That's a bit of a copse, but I did notice there's quite a few over here, because you can get grants for planting trees, so that would have been what's happened there. And lovely Sussex fencing. Whether that was there before or not, I don't know. But notice behind there was, where I didn't film, there was a field as big as this with just full of trees, so someone's planting a wood. Obviously we won't see it and they won't see it. Beautiful oak tree. So we grew up close to the lower Avon, and I now work, and in fact here isn't far from what I call the middle Avon, which goes through Bradford-on-Avon, Chippenham, Bath, and out to the sea at Avonmouth. So we crossed it not far from its source, and then a few miles later we ended up at High Cross. And obviously, as a magical thing, we had to both get out and have a look at it and go a wander along the Fosse way as it carried off to the northwest, and just spent a little bit of time there in what I call the centre of England. Wayfaring tree in flower, Viburnum lantana, just above a very steep drop. So I'm glad I had the little accidents first, or else I might have gone in there. Now I can see not far to the right of the sun, I can see some colours that shouldn't be there. I mean, look at that. Honestly, that is not natural. That's deliberately done. And people don't believe you. It's really quite hard to, you know, when you see it every day and you actually know, and people are denying it when they live in towns and cities and they look at the ground every morning. They don't look up, and they're not up and out at dawn like I am, so they don't see it. Anyway, we're there's a big house we're going past now, but I'll leave it as just as something of interest. I doubt you'll be able to see it, but you may do when we're further up there. So as we were stood at High Cross, something happened. Yeah, just getting a little view of the terrain around here. This is very this is getting very South Gloucestershire-y. Now, as some of you may know, and it's probably going to be a subject of a video, actually, this, because we have a lot of cognitive dissonance within us, like things about us that don't fit in with other things about us. Yeah. Anyway, for some reason, well, I know why, but I love motor racing. okay. I know yeah, you'd have to tell me about all the bollocks, right? And they're using fuel, blah 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 blah, stuff about men and competitive and blah, all that, right? You don't have to tell me about that. I just do, and it's probably down to my parents having gone to Mallory Park to watch racing when my mother was pregnant with me. So that sound, there's something to do with the sound of an engine that's going fast around the track. I love. Now while I'm here, and I was told off for not mentioning it on a video I did last week when I was out filming, is that lots of hedges are being laid at the moment, and quite good. But I mean, I would prefer to have the actual trees myself. You know what ancient coppice looks like, nicer than hedge. This will ruin the wildness of it. That's the sad part. See, that's what I prefer. And if we don't acknowledge that, we're going to lose this. So, I mean, I'm not a Formula 1 sort of racer. I'm more motorbikes and classic cars, really. And so there we were. Now I like the look of this. See, that is what it should look like behind me, but it's not. It's been messed about with by humans. I'm not a fan. I can't even pretend to be a fan. You know, your face gives away things, doesn't it? You can't pretend stuff if you don't like it. You know, if you're out on a date and you meet someone and they're trying too hard, well, they've got other issues, you can't help it. You know, you just know. Anyway, so there we were, stood at High Cross, and suddenly I heard the lovely sound of a V8 engine. I went, huh? And all my hairs stood on end. I got all excited, and suddenly from out of nowhere appeared an AC Cobra. Which is one of my favourite racing cars. So they must have had that thing of, you know, they're obviously driving it because may have, you know, they want to show off some money or whatever. Anyway, I was amazed because I've never seen one in real life. I've only watched them racing on videos and live streams and, well, nothing else really. So I was all really excited, and then we went and stopped to see my other aunt, who I hadn't seen for a long time. And sat in her garden with a fire and looking out towards the wash. And seeing the lights of Leicester. So it was all quite magical, really. And one of those, you know, one of those days that I'll remember till I die, in fact. Now I think what's going to happen later, not in this video, oh look, old oak trees, or old oak tree. I'm going to head into those woods, I think. I'm not entirely sure. We shall see, won't we? So that was, you know, really magical. And in my aunt's garden she has this amazing hibiscus, which is probably the biggest and most beautiful hibiscus I've ever seen in my life, and it was perfectly pink and blue and full of blossoms, and had a sort of carpet of blossom, fallen blossom underneath it. So that was you know, it was fantastic. Ooh, buzzard. I'm wondering if buzzards and woodpeckers are one of my spirit animals, but I see lots of animals, lots of birds anyway. Oh look. Celandine and the light coming through there with bluebells. Wow. Look at that, they're fantastic. Wow. So let's see, this has turned nicer, hasn't it? So then we come to the way back. So not long, so the way back we had to come was down the Fosse way, this way. In fact, from that end we came down, and not long after we came away from High Cross, we then crossed the River Avon, the upper Avon, whilst driving along the Fosse way on the way down. So we've gone up Watling Street, crossed the Avon at its near to its source, come back down, going down the Fosse way, cross the River Avon a little bit further from its source as it goes on to come out in the Severn estuary. Well, yeah, the Severn estuary at some point. Oh, this is lovely. Nice and old, nice and old. I hope people will be saying about me. And well, everyone who's watching, in fact. But I can't speak for you. You know, you may not want that. It's like people wish me, you know, an enjoyable summer, or, you know, oh, isn't it great, the sun's out. No, I don't want it hot. You know, you can have mine. But anyway, I digress. I may have digressed, but this is nice. Just lovely. Bluebells, old trees. Squirrel. And our scene behind, look at that. See, that's an old road if ever there feels like one, eh? And then we drove down the Fosse way, and then back home. So it was, you know, incredible, magical day. Reconnecting with my brother. Driving, I think, No, it wasn't floods, was it? It was flooded the next time. Aha, primroses. That's the first primroses there that I've seen along this bit. So there, the story of two ancient roads and a well-known river. Yeah, that. What I'm saying about the upper. Sorry, did I say the middle Avon? I meant the upper Avon. The upper Avon being the Avon that goes through Stratford. So if I said middle, the middle one goes through Bath, and the lower one Stonehenge to Bournemouth. So there you go. That's differentiates them. But the ones that cross the Fosse Way and Watling Street, they happen to be, that happens to be the, what I call the upper Avon, because in this country we have 3 rivers called the River Avon. Isn't that ridiculous? And even more ridiculous is the fact that, and maybe some of you know this, Avon means river. So not only do we have 3 rivers called the River Avon, we have 3 rivers called the River Avon that mean river. Only in England. There's a nice shop here. Well, that's a croak, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that coincidental story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, check out the links below. If you want to donate, do it via Patreon, because that way I can get the money, as PayPal's being strange. And you know, you sign up for however much you want to donate. So I'll see you next time. Ta-ra. I'll leave you with a beautiful old tree. That It's a lovely little spot, isn't it?